on Osrc News at 7. Presidency denies fuel subsidy claims, affirms Tinubu's deregulation policy amid price hike scarcity. Ondo State government warns schools against unauthorized fees ahead 2024-2025 academic session. Ahead Ondo governorship election, advocacy group encourages voter participation among disabled individuals. And from the foreign scene, Israeli strikes kill 35 in Gaza as polio vaccination campaign proceeds.
Good evening, thanks for joining us. This is the news at 7. My name is Sahid Arabisala. The presidency says President Bola Tinubu's government did not lie about removing fuel subsidies and deregulating the downstream sector. Special advisor to the President of Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, denied claims that the current government had been unfaithful to its policies of not paying fuel subsidies since President Tinubu announced the deregulation of the PMS sector on May 29, 2023. According to him, subsidy provisions had disappeared from Nigeria's budget and were not included in the supplementary budget of 2023. Onanuga's clarification came following speculations that the federal government was still paying fuel subsidies despite May 2023 declaration. He said the introduction of petrol by the Dangote refinery into the Nigerian market would definitely alleviate the suffering of the masses, while the coming on board of other refineries, including government-owned Port Harcourt refinery, will benefit the country. There was a fresh uproar yesterday after the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited increased petrol prices from around 568 naira to 855 naira and 897 naira, depending on the location per litre, amid lingering fuel scarcity crises. The federal government has, however, denied reports that it directed NNPCL to peg fuel prices at 1,000 naira. Nigeria's state-run oil company says it is under financial strain and no longer able to import fuel into the country. People are queuing up at petrol stations across major cities that are selling fuel at a cheaper price. Odryo Sawyer has details.
Nigerians have woken up to a new reality. Another jump in the price of petrol, an increase of more than 45%. Desperate buyers queued for hours at this petrol station operated by the state oil company, the NNPCL.
When you pay 55 cents a litre at a government-owned petrol station, what do you expect of other independent marketers?
Across the street, another pump sells petrol for 60 cents a litre. Elsewhere, prices have shot up to 70 cents a litre. This is a third increase in the price of petrol since the current government of President Tinubu came to power, the steepest being an over 210% jump in 2023. In August, the NNPCL declared a profit of $1.44 billion for the 2023 financial year. 2 weeks later, the NNPCL says it can't afford to import fuel because of billions of dollars of debt. Last year, President Bola Tinubu announced cutting state petrol subsidies he insisted benefited only a few individuals. For decades, Nigeria has failed to refine even a litre of petrol despite spending hundreds of millions of dollars on its 4 refineries. Instead, the country spent an average of $1 billion a year to import refined petroleum products under a subsidy regime that critics called fraudulent. As expected, transport costs have nearly doubled after the latest increase. Food inflation is expected to follow.
You can't make a profit under the current circumstances. You can't even feed your family at the rate we're going.
Some blame the price hikes on the valuation of the naira, which made imports more expensive.
So the more the currency was devalued, the worse subsidy came. And the NNPC, state oil company, had to bear that burden for a long period of time, which led to this phase where they can't pay anymore. And have a debt of $6 billion, according to them.
But others say the NNPCL has been operating with little or no transparency. Many expect the Dangote refinery, owned by Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, to bring some relief, having already processed its first batch of refined petrol. It is expected to supply 25 million litres a day to the domestic market this September, increasing that to 30 million litres next month. But analysts say this will not entirely solve petrol shortages in Nigeria. Odunayo Sawyer, Osrc News.
Still staying with the new realities in the pump price of petrol, the Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, has demanded an immediate reversal of the pump price of petrol across the country. NLC, in a post on its social platform X, said the union felt betrayed by President Bola Tinubu after the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) increased the official price of fuel from 617 naira to 897 naira per litre. NLC President Joe Ajaero claimed that they accepted the 70,000 naira minimum wage because of an understanding with the federal government that there would be no further increase in the price of fuel. The NLC threatened that in the coming days, the appropriate organs of Congress will be meeting to make appropriate decisions which will be made public. Meanwhile, the presidency has dismissed claims made by Nigeria Labour Congress NLC President Joe Ajaero, asserting that President Bola Tinubu did not betray Labour leaders by increasing petrol pump price. Ajaero alleged that Labour accepted the 70,000 naira national minimum wage based on an understanding that fuel prices would remain stable. In response, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Print Media, Abdulaziz stated on his verified X account that no offers were made regarding fuel price hikes. He characterized the Labour leader's claim as dirty politics aimed at manipulating public sentiment. The Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, NECA, has criticized the recent hike in the pump price of petrol by the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited. This is as NECA described the situation as Nigerians paying for the inefficiency of NNPCL. The Director General of NECA, Adewale Smart Oyenride, responding to the new pump price, said the increase is not only worrisome but also unfair. According to him, Nigerians had expected that the government would leverage on the momentum created by the completion of the Dangote refinery and the planned commencement of operation of the Port Harcourt refinery. He further noted that the government's actions are inadvertently contributing to the increasing cost of doing business. He advised the government to reconsider its approach and take all necessary measures to address the ongoing impoverishment of Nigerians and the weakening of organized businesses. The development comes as Dangote refinery officially announced the first rollout of premium motor spirit. Away from that, ahead of the November governorship election in Ondo State, a disability inclusion-focused organization that promotes the rights and recognition for individuals with disabilities, TAF Africa, has urged persons with disabilities to come out and exercise their franchise. The organization's program director, Adeolu Kilanko, at an engagement with representatives of disability clusters, wants them to remain undeterred by previous voting experiences. Osrc reports that the program is tagged Able to Vote.
Available data shows that there are over 30 million persons with disabilities in Nigeria and with over 60% of voting age. To drive more participation in the process, the Able to Vote voter education campaign for community of persons with disabilities in Ondo State was organized by TAF Africa, a non-governmental organization championing disability inclusion. The platform provided an avenue for the convergence of various clusters in the disability group to engage ahead of the upcoming governorship election in the state. TAF Africa's program director Adeolu Kilanko said the campaign is designed to address the electoral participation of persons with disability, which he says is often overlooked.
Is to sensitize persons with disability and other key stakeholders on provisions of relevant laws and legal frameworks in Nigeria that guarantees the active participation of persons with disabilities in elections in Nigeria. As you are aware, the governorship election in Ondo State is coming up on the 16th of November. So we are here to sensitize the persons with disabilities on the conduct that they need to watch out for to enable them actively participate seamlessly in the forthcoming general election.
Kilanko, who noted that the goal of the campaign is to educate and inform the community about their voting rights, said it is also an avenue to extract their voting experiences and resources available to them during the election.
Multifaceted program requires a multifaceted approach. While we're talking with INEC to provide magnifying glasses, if we also don't have person with albinism go to the polling unit to come and report back that there were no magnifying glasses, how do we know that the glasses were not provided in the first instance? So we have to make sure that all hands are on deck to ensure that while we are working with INEC to do what is needful, persons with disabilities that we're also working with are also there to confirm that yes, we are seeing progresses, or there are still some gaps that we need to address going forward.
The discussions centered on the challenges faced by persons with disabilities during elections, as participants shared personal stories highlighting issues such as physical barriers at polling stations and the lack of accessible voting materials.
And I want to cast my votes. The last election, when the machine insists to let me cast my votes, it's very painful because I love voting.
The event also featured discussion on the legal framework designed to promote inclusion, as well as the gap between policy and practice. The shortage of assistive voting materials like braille ballots and the need for more training for polling staff on how to assist voters with disabilities were highlighted.
On that election day, those are not educated when it comes to the polling units. If they tell them that they can't see, we just tell them to just move aside. And also when they want, whenever they go to the INEC office to change their polling units, but that is far away to the nearest place, we just tell them to just stay one side and they will attend to them later, and which is not right.
A panel discussion featured representatives from INEC, Chairman, Joint National Association of Persons with Disabilities in Ondo State, and Chairperson of the State Agency for Persons with Disabilities.
Is a pattern that accepts persons with disabilities.
We can vote and we can be voted for, isn't it? Yes.
Using the Electoral Act as amended, and to see the inclusions of persons with disability, so that the apathy that we have having now will be reducing.
Still will give me confidence to be talking to my people for them to come out on the day of election to vote for the candidate of their choice.
INEC's desk officer, Gender and Inclusivity, Ude Edith, assured attendees that continuous efforts are being made to improve voting experience.
And we make sure in INEC that during the election, these people are taken into consideration.
The organizers of the Able to Vote campaign stressed the importance of continued advocacy and dialogue between the community, electoral bodies and policymakers to address these issues and to ensure that the upcoming governorship election in Ondo State is inclusive and accessible for all. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
We're due for a break on the news at 7. We'll be back with more stories. Please stay with us. Thank you for rejoining us at Studio News at 7. You can watch us live on our website www.org.tv and on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. To more stories now, the Ondo State government has issued a warning to heads of public schools against charging unauthorized fees during the 2024 admission process. Commissioner for Education Olaoluwa Akindolie said the warning follows reports that some school administrators were imposing additional levies beyond the state-approved amounts. According to the Commissioner, the state government has provided a clear list of approved fees for new intakes in public primary schools and for secondary schools, and these fees cover various charges including PTA levies and examination costs. Akindole emphasized that no school should collect money for textbooks or uniforms, but should instead provide parents with recommended lists. The Commissioner reiterated that any school head found violating these guidelines would face consequences, urging parents to report any illegal fee collection. The Christian Welfare Board has held its monthly prayer meeting, expressing gratitude to God for past blessings and praying for the well-being of members and government leaders. During the meeting held at its headquarters in Akure, guest preacher Gideon Olukayode underscored the significance of obedience to God in order to receive His provisions. Abidemi Akinrotoye reports, highlighting the community's commitment to faith and prayer.
With hearts full of gratitude and mind focused on the future, members of the Christian Welfare Board in Akure convened for another prayer meeting, seeking God's direction and support.
It's a pity today that these are people we don't have faith in the Lord any longer. Our faith is so shallow.
Director of Accounts Doris Adeganle emphasized the importance of praying for the success of board members and government leaders.
It is a monthly activity that we do in Christian Welfare Board. We pray and we invite people from outside. Now we can see that we have a lot of people that join the prayer today, and people always have testimony at the end of every monthly prayer.
A board member, Charles Ajekpe, expressed appreciation to attendees for their presence, considering the current economic challenges facing the nation.
People are coming more than before. So, and this one convinces me that people actually believe in prayer, and you see their enthusiasm. It's a monthly program, and we have to pray for our state, and we have to pray for the government.
Other members shared valuable takeaway from the program, reaffirming their belief in the power of prayer to bring answers and solutions to their challenges, the state and the nation.
God really proved himself in our midst. Not only that, God made us to know that even in a time like this, when there is hardship in this nation, our God, if we put our trust in the Lord.
As the meeting concluded, members left with a sense of hope and a renewed commitment to their faith, determined to achieve success in their future endeavors. Abidemi Akinrotoye, Osrc News.
On the crime scene, a 17-year-old boy, Philip Emmanuel, has been arrested for the alleged murder of Mrs. Deborah Adene, a caterer, over 60,000 naira. In Ondo State, Philip, who was awaiting his SSC results, was paraded alongside other suspects at the state police headquarters in Akure by Commissioner of Police Oladipo Abayomi. Omar Olanguji report is presented from our studio.
The investigation began when a foul odor emanated from Mrs. Adene's apartment on Ondai Road, Akure. Upon entering, police discovered her mutilated body on the bed, a blood-stained machete, and a mobile phone, indicating a violent crime. This led to the arrest of one of her domestic staff, Philip, who confessed to collaborating with the victim's driver to murder her and steal money from her bank account.
I was working with the woman, so the driver now told me that he heard that money want to enter my madam's account. Now come and told me that we should kill my madam. So the woman now go inside her room. The driver now come and meet me. He now brought out one bottle. He now said I should drink it. So after I drink it, he now told me the same matter. He now say we should do that thing. So he now brought out cutlass. He now say we should go and kill that woman. That time I was very high. I don't even know what I'm doing. He now forced me. So we now go to inside the woman's room. He now say that I should kill her. So he now pushed me. So I just hit cutlass on the woman's head when she was sleeping. The money, now read the money that inside the account is 60, but me I don't know. It's the driver that checked the money that is in the account. He now told me that is 60,000. So he now gave me 30,000.
In addition to Philip, several other suspects were arrested by the police for various crimes, including car theft and fraud. The police also recovered 7 stolen vehicles and arrested individuals involved in issuing fake documents. Notably, Umi Samuel, a trained panabiter, was apprehended with stolen items and a pistol, among others, in his possession.
In the night, Okiaro, I used to go back of prayer center and for Ijoka. I dey go Ijoka for Okiobere and Okiya.
I never knew they were stolen until when I was arrested, because he normally said to me with original document.
He first sell one to me, say he's using it his car, and then now his money, now his address and the name dey there. I buy it from him. To
scanning and editing. Scanning and editing, sir.
You scan them and edit them?
Yes, sir.
Also paraded was a 38-year-old hunter, Joseph Ajegba, for attempted murder. Commissioner of Police in Ondo State, Oladipo Abayomi, urged residents to be vigilant and conduct thorough investigations before hiring individuals for work or engaging in business transactions.
Members of the public must for sure avoid openly discussing their financial transaction where their staffs are and other members of the public, because information is on the need to know. Also, we must trust, but we must verify those whom we are reposing trust in.
He said the police is committed to apprehending remaining suspects still at large.
The Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, says Nigeria's power generation made history, rising to a 3-year high of 5,313 megawatt. A statement by Special Advisor on Strategic Communication and Media Relations to the Minister of Power, Mr. Bolaji Tunji Adelabu, urged electricity distribution companies to in order to prevent a grid collapse. Earlier in May, the federal government pledged to generate 6,000 megawatts of electricity before the end of the year. During this ministerial address in Abuja while presenting achievements of his ministry, Adelabu said the country's power generation rose to 5,000 megawatts on May 3rd. The minister vowed that power generation in Nigeria would hit 6,000 megawatts before the end of this year, going by improvements in the sector in 2023. Governors under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, have urged security agencies to note the threats by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, to cause political crisis in the states of any governor who tries to interfere in the affairs of the PDP in Rivers State. Wike in Port Harcourt on Saturday had said he would put fire in the state of any governor who interferes in the crisis rocking Rivers State. In a statement, the Director General of the PDP Governors Forum, Emmanuel Agbo, said nobody is above the law and urged security agencies to take note of the minister's utterances. Agbo noted that the statements and threats to peaceful coexistence made by Wike to put fire in the PDP-controlled states are unbridled, irresponsible and totally unacceptable, as it undermines efforts to build and maintain peace, cohesion, collaboration and mutual respect among leaders and members of the party. The Director General restated that the PDP's position on the affairs of the party in Rivers State are not subject to review by any individual, no matter how highly placed. Abu added that the PDP is committed to working with the National Working Committee of the party and ensuring that Governor Simialayi Fubara is conferred with all the privileges he is entitled to as a governor elected on the platform of the PDP, both at the state and national levels. The Federal Capital Territory FCT Command of Nigeria Police Force has launched School Protection Squad to avert attacks on both private and public schools in the 6 area councils of the nation's capital, Abuja. The FCT Commissioner of Police, Bennett Igwe, declared open the ongoing Police Strategic Stakeholders Forum on Security of Schools in FCT and training of the Schools Protection Squad at the Nigeria Police Resource Center, Abuja. Reassured residents of the territory of the command's readiness to protect students and make schools in the FCT safe. The federal government, in its effort to reduce the number of out-of-school children, formally launched the Safe School Protection SPS Initiatives Group in 2022. And outside Nigeria, Israeli forces have killed at least 35 people across Gaza, according to Palestinian officials, as brief and partial pauses in fighting in central Gaza have allowed medics to conduct a further day of polio vaccinations for children. There's more in this report.
It is not easy to conduct a vaccination drive in the middle of a war zone. Health officials in Gaza have only a few days to vaccinate thousands of children against polio. A case was detected recently after the virus was eradicated here 25 years ago. Medical authorities sounded the alarm, calling for urgent action.
In order to stop the spread of polio in this outbreak, we need to reach at least 90% of the children. In this case, would be children under 10. So yes, this is the only way to stop the spread, and this is we're going to be working towards that.
The designated areas by the World Health Organization were coordinated with all the parties to ensure the safety of the children, their parents, and the medical teams. Israel has agreed to limited pause in fighting to allow the vaccinations. Parents remain concerned for the health of their children and their safety as they often walk long distances to get to the vaccination sites.
The entire situation is frightening. From the moment we leave our tent until we reach here, we assume an Israeli missile or shell will fall on our heads. If the vehicle is not targeted, the hospital would be attacked. Our lives and our children's lives are hanging by a thread. We could be killed at any point of time.
The medical teams will next move to An Yunis, Rafah and Gaza, hoping to inoculate more than 500,000 children. For now, the World Health Organization says the operation is exceeding expectations and that all its sites are packed with children waiting to be inoculated, but in the area battered by missiles, tanks and fighter jets. The process has been challenging.
The campaign is running with very limited resources. We are facing great difficulties. The vaccine vials were delivered into Gaza with great difficulty because of the Israeli siege and ongoing war. Medical staff are working in non-equipped areas, be it in the hospital yard or even inside tents.
But the dangers of the polio outbreak aren't over. The success of the vaccination campaign relies on whether the limited 8-hour-a-day pause in fighting will hold. Gaza is no longer sane. Relentless bombardment has largely destroyed entire hospitals and clinics. International Health Organization fears shortages in medical supplies, water, food and fuel could lead to a far bigger crisis. Sahid Arabisala, Osrc News.
Sport news. The Super Eagles have observed their first training ahead of Saturday's 2025 Africa Cup of Nations qualifying fixtures against the Cheetahs of Benin Republic. 20 players took part in the training held at the practice pitch of the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium. 3 more players, Victor Osimhen, Kelechi Iheanacho and Maduka Okoye, are still being expected in camp. Today, while the duo of Osimi and Okoye will link up with their teammates on Thursday. And to end the news tonight, another look at the major stories. We told you that the presidency has denied fuel subsidy claims, affirming President Tinubu's declaration and deregulation policy amid fuel price hike and scarcity. The special advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, denied the claims that the current government had been unfaithful to its policies of not paying fuel subsidies since President Tinubu announced the deregulation of the sector on May 29, 2023. Was informed you that the Ondo State government has warned schools against unauthorized fees ahead 2024-2025 academic session. The Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology, Olaolu Akindole, saying that any head of school found culpable will be made to face the consequences. And that's the news tonight. Thanks for watching. Good evening.
Go.